Let's go to Brad in Cincinnati. Hey, Brad, what's going on, man?
Hey, Doc. I appreciate your time. Thanks.
Thanks, brother. Thanks for calling. What's up?
Yes. Well, sir, I need your help with being able to persuade my daughter to agree to continue her treatment for OCD.
Whew. So that is my original clinical diagnosis, OCD. So,
Yeah.
man, I have been on both sides of this. What, she have behaviors? She have thoughts? What's she struggle with?
It's mostly rumination.
Okay.
Mostly rumination, not so much physical. So my wife and I don't even have a full understanding of all the things she deals with because
Okay.
I'm not even sure she's let us all the way in
Sure.
to that because she's got this as a secret from everybody.
Okay.
As well. And so she's been to some counselors. I'll make it relatively short. We've done supplements. I've even done neurofeedback for a while, and we've had some small improvements. But overall, her attitude is just, I just want it gone. I shouldn't have to have treatment. This is not fair. I don't want this. I just want it to be gone. I don't want to ever think that I had to go get help. I don't want to have to go treatment. The last counselor was an OCD specialist who recommended she consider medications. And, there have been a couple times when she momentarily agreed to take that next step, but she won't do it.
Okay.
She won't do it.
How old is she?
She's just 17. She'll be 18 real soon.
Okay. I'd love to talk to her if she ever wants to call in. If y'all want to call in together, I don't know if she would ever do that, but I'd love to talk to her. Been there. So for those who don't, I know OCD it's in the movies and it looks like just somebody's washing their hands a lot like that. Think of, I consider OCD a part of the anxiety family, and compulsive thoughts are compulsive behaviors, right? Whether it's washing your hands or cleaning. One of mine is locking doors. I just know I take 2 laps around the house every night. Every single night. When I'm in a hotel, I take 2 laps around the hotel. My family knows it. I know it. I don't fight it. I laugh about it. Some nights I'll just smile about it. But counting, I get stuck counting corners sometimes. It's just a thing, right? I went to war over it for years. And part of me being able to just have a great life was making peace with it, right? And then some of the ones that were a little more challenging, like the catastrophizing thoughts, I did work hard on those, and now I just don't have them anymore. Or when they start to spin up, I've got a couple of things I can do between them. For those who don't know, I can't describe the urge in a way that makes people who don't struggle with OCD understand it, other than maybe don't eat for 24 hours and then walk into a room and there's that smell of pizza and you have to grab a piece, or you've run a couple of miles in the heat and you have to have a drink of water. It's an urge that's bizarre. It's so powerful, right? And people with addiction struggle with it. So what thoughts are spinning in her head? Is she suicidal? Is she having catastrophizing thoughts? Or is she scared of the future? What's she spinning around with?
Well, it started out with catastrophe and that kind of thing, mom and dad dying, that kind of stuff. But it's kind of moved on to a lot of things. I mean, she's even struggling with eating now.
Yep.
She has a lot of thoughts of, items being morally dirty. If she had to talk about something that she didn't particularly like and she was near a piece of furniture, well, now that piece of furniture is dirty, or now that room in the house is dirty, right?
Yeah.
So it's bleeding into a lot of different things. Relationships are being more and more difficult, especially with me. And she's got anger issues. She's got a win-lose mindset kind of thing. We try to give her good ideas to try to help her and bless her. And she will actually say, well, I can't do that now because that's what you recommended. So I'm not going to do that, that kind of thing. And
some of that, is she's 17, right?
Right. Well, I know, I thought that, but I can't tell, where that line is.
Right.
And so that makes it hard. And I'm so frustrated and heartbroken because I worry so much about where this could lead, if she doesn't get help. And so, as a dad, I'm like, oh, honey, please, let's talk about this. So I probably, I'm kind of trying to be upfront in a non-threatening way, but say, honey, just trying to point out things in logic and that just doesn't work.
There you go. That's right.
And you're right. And so when that doesn't work, I'm like, oh, okay, what do I do? How do I talk? I mean, we can't even really have a calm conversation like you and I are now.
Right.
So it's extremely difficult.
I'm going to ask you a question. It's going to sound like I'm accusing you of something. Please don't hear that. Okay. I'm just trying to get one more piece of information, and then we can get on down the road. Okay.
Right.
Walk me through her childhood. Where did this stuff emerge from? Was there chaos growing up? Was there frustration? Was there anger? Did she have trauma in her past?
Yeah, well, great question, and I anticipate that question. And I don't think so. I think she would tell you, that she had a pretty good childhood up until a point when her older sister left for college.
There you go.
That's when she pretty much identified her life as being destroyed and over.
Okay. And how long ago was that?
That was 5 years ago.
Okay. And since then, it's just been spinning and spinning, and then all of a sudden it's...
Yeah.
Okay.
At first, it was just, putting two and two together in her mind that just didn't make sense, and we spent hours talking. It's not going to be that bad. It's going to be fine, and it never... it just like bouncing off of her, and she's just never put it together. And then it's just kind of grown and grown. And so as I see this thing, this building this impenetrable defense to protect itself, it just gets me more and more concerned and frightened for her.
Here, a couple of things here, okay? And I want you, I'm going to give you a couple of things you can do starting today. All right? Okay. Starting right when this thing is over. She may say no. She's a 17-year-old, right? I mean, she's a 17-year-old woman. She can say no, but she's also a 17-year-old kid, okay?
Right.
And mom's got to be on board too, all right?
Right.
Whenever somebody's struggling with anxiety, or more than that, somebody is mourning a relationship that meant everything that got plucked out of the moon. Or when a kid wants so badly to go to Chuck E. Cheese and all of a sudden Chuck E. Cheese is closed and they get a little bit agitated, and I turn around as dad and say, it's not that big a deal when you chill out. What I've just done is I've given them information that is contrary to what their body is telling them. And for a child, it makes them feel insane. So when if I spank my kid, all right, let's say you spank your child and you say, that didn't hurt. Their body says that hurts. And their heart says, my dad hit me, that hurts. And their mind says, I'm heartbroken. But also this guy who's smart is telling me it doesn't hurt. And then it just goes, zzz, the machine, their brain does, right? So go back 5 years ago. The one thing that mattered to your daughter for probably 1,000 different reasons was her older sister. A person who was safe for her, she could laugh with, could be honest with, and whatever honest means for a 12-year-old, right? And then all of a sudden that got unplugged. And that wasn't a cognitive issue. That is not an information issue. That is the fight or flight, hey, your tribe just left you part of her brain that sounded every alarm she had. And then the folks who love her, man, y'all came in to help. And hey, you're going to be fine. It's not even that big a deal. And her body is saying help, and her head saying, I guess it's not that big a deal. And now you got a fracture. Does that make sense? You see where I'm going with that?
Yeah, I do.
And so what we've tried to do over the last 4 or 5 years is solve a connection issue with info. And now the relationship itself has become an anxious interaction, right?
Yes.
And these 4-hour conversations that feel like you're spinning in circles. And then one night you go to bed and you're like, I think I finally got through. I gave her the right analogy or the right metaphor or the right whatever. And she lays down and her brain's off to the races again, because the thing it's trying to solve for is safe relationship, not info.
Yeah, that's right. And we want to do that.
No, I know you do. I know you do. Listen.
So how do we do that?
So Brad, can I tell you this? Can I tell you?
Sure.
You're a great dad and you love your daughter. Okay?
I do.
And I don't want you to hang up being like, well, crap, I screwed this up. I'm not telling you that. What I'm telling you is, I think moving this way, going west, taking a right, there's some things you can do different. So here's what we're going to solve for. We're going to solve for relationship. We're going to solve for safety.
Okay.
Now, if you've listened to this show, I'm not a throw medicine at something first. There is a moment when your anxiety alarms, you've been in a hotel before that gets, the fire alarm gets set off because there's too much, you get hot water in there, right? And it's steam, set it off. That's an alarm that's busted. It's sensitive. It's too sensitive, needs to be recalibrated. There is a season when low-dose medication for this is good because it turns the alarms off so that you can finally start having these conversations. Does that make sense?
Right. That perfect sense.
And so if your doctor has said, hey, we're in year 5 and these things aren't working, and now your daughter's telling you, I can't even go into the things that are going to help me to have help because they are setting that tells me that you may have, again, I'm not a medical doctor, but you may have an alarm system that's just needs to be recalibrated and reset. Okay. So I wouldn't say you're a failure. I wouldn't say anything's broken. I'd say that's just get in there and get done with it. Okay. The second thing is this is going to sound so cheesy and so lame. So cheesy and so lame. You're going to say, dude, we've spent thousands of dollars and hours and hours. If she would commit to this, I would love for you and her, I would love for you to say, hey, you know what? For the last 5 years, I've given you a lot of information. And the one thing I don't do enough of is just hug my baby girl. Would you give me a 30-second hug in the morning and a 30-second hug in the evening, just every day? And mom wants in on this too. And she'd roll her eyes and just say, I just want to go back to my baby girl. And I know we can't go back to being in middle school, but you're about to go to college and in it. Can we just start hugging? And I'm going to commit. If you want some info from me, you know that I'm here for you. And you know I'm your dad. I love talking.
Right.
But what I really want to start doing is I want my baby girl back. And I'm going to quit lecturing you. I'm going to quit arguing with you. I'm going to quit trying to give you another article and another thing. I want a 30-second hug with you every day in the morning, and I want a 30-second hug in the evening. She may say, Dad, I can't do that. And if that's the case, great. Say, me and your mom are going to do 30-second hugs every day. And because here's what's happened. This has affected your marriage too. I know it has, because you have an idea on how to do it. Mom has an idea, and it's causing fractures all over the place. And that tension feeds this spinning cycle, right? It just turns into a cyclone. And
that's exactly right.
I want you and your wife to drop your shoulders, and I want y'all to start hugging each other 30 seconds a day. If you're able to, write your daughter just a quick note, go to Walgreens or go wherever and buy a stack of cards and just write her a note every morning that just says, I'm the luckiest dad in the world that I got picked to be your dad. Love, Dad. That's it. That's it. I love you.
Right.
And what we're trying to do now over the next year is we're going to try to solve for relationship. Hey, we just go for all of us going to go for a walk after dinner. I promise we won't talk about COVID, politics, or OCD. We're just going to go for a walk. In fact, you can wear your headphones. If you wear your headphones, though, you got to hold mom's hand. That's the rule. But we're just going to go for a walk together. And here's what we're doing. We're just slowly teaching the amygdala that we're okay. We're safe. And that sounds so ridiculous and so cheesy and so, oh my gosh, what are you doing, dude? Is she still going to need medicine? Probably, at least for a season. Does she still need to see a counselor? Yes, no question. But what she really needs is to solve for safe, to solve for relationship. And that's going to start with you sitting down saying, dude, I've given you enough information to last us a lifetime. I'm done with it. Okay. If you want me to answer questions, specific brain chemistry, come ask me. You know, I love talking about that stuff. And I still want to talk about baseball games with you, whatever. But I just want to be dad. And I love you. And I hurt with you. You know that. I know that. Let's get back to this. And then if she'll include you in concerts, she'll include you, or you can include her in concerts, or whatever things y'all like to do, to baseball games, whatever. Invite her to those things. We're solving for relationship. And I'm about 99% sure that you and your wife need to go see a marriage counselor too, Brad. 5 years of dealing with this inside your house is hard on any marriage at all, any marriage in the world. And that tension fuels the house. And so you guys go work on you, make sure your marriage is strong, that y'all are good, and give that your daughter something firm and concrete to anchor into. You're a good dad, man. You are. You're a good dad. Your daughter's struggling. She needs medical intervention. She needs relational intervention. And she just needs her old man to say, I love you. Come give me a hug. Let's start with some skin-on-skin contact. Let's start with some hugs. Let's start with some walks. Let's start with some conversations that have nothing to do with these other things. Let's start with some experiences together. Let's start with y'all play video games together. I don't care, whatever it is. And let's let the professionals do the professional stuff and let her get her dad back. And my gut tells me that over the arc of several months, over the arc of a year, that those alarms will slowly start turning down. Her brain will start going, we're safe. We're safe. You're a good man. But yes, if medication's on the table, I think you may be there, okay? Sit down with your doctor and start from the lowest dose and work up is always my recommendation. Thank you so much for that call.